Hey everybody, how we doing? It's Mark Ross. It is Tuesday, May 16th, coming to you from Alexandria, Virginia. Here's what I am reading and watching today. I'm going to talk about Turkey. Erdoğan is on track to get reelected in Turkey. The runoff will take place on Sunday, May 28th. Interesting factoids, Erdoğan's vote in the first round of voting, he had 2 million more votes than his closest rival. He came in just under the 50% threshold, 49.5%. And his center-right coalition appears to be on track to win the majority in the Turkish parliament. So all signs look like that Erdoğan will be leader of Turkey going forward. Just as a general rule, what's kind of interesting, Erdoğan's already been there for 20 years. When you're a leader who's been in power for 20 plus years, you become a huge irritant on the global stage. So this isn't great as you enter that 20 plus year. So I'm sure there's a lot of capitals. I know there are a lot of capitals around the world that aren't too thrilled that Erdoğan will be with us longer. And of course, internally, the citizens of Turkey, to stay in power that long, it takes a lot of effort. So watch for that, May 28th, the second round of voting. Going to flash forward to the other side of the world. Thailand had an interesting election this past weekend. The Progressive Party Move Forward won more votes, but faces an uphill battle to form a government there. If you're not following the Thailand, what is happening is the military, the army-backed military, has been running Thailand for the past 10 years, but that governing coalition only got 15% of the vote. What's an interesting wrinkle about this, even though the Move Forward Party got the most votes, to form a government, the prime minister must get approved by the House of Representatives, which is made up of 500 members, but 250 of those members were appointed by the recent military-backed government. So it's unclear if the military is going to give up rule. A lot of people fearing that the military will not back down, and this new youth-powered Move Forward Party will not be able to take over. So watch what's happening in Thailand. Certainly an interesting part of the world. A lot of people will be paying attention to that. So Thailand, interesting thing to watch. Gideon Rockman in today's FT with the headline, Xi Jinping's Taiwan ambitions threaten China's rise. A lot of talk, obviously, especially here in Washington, D.C., of not if, but when China will make a military advance on Taiwan. I myself don't really think it's going to happen. I mean, it really doesn't help China other than pure ego to really accomplish anything. Gideon Rockman kind of says the same kind of thing. One of the biggest things that would happen, even if Taiwan were to capitulate and the U.S. and Japan and South Korea weren't to get involved, the entire global economy would certainly turn their backs on China. We saw what happened when Russia went into Ukraine quickly. Within days, companies that have been in Russia for 30 years were forced to pull out. So the same thing would certainly happen here. And it reminds me of a classic situation. If anyone has seen the movie The Candidate, Robert Redford, he's this candidate for Senate, and when he wins, he famously turns, at the end of the movie, to his campaign manager and says, now what? I mean, it's the same kind of situation. You could take Taiwan, but then it's like, now what? Does it really help China? I don't think so. So, interesting article to read. I kind of am in the same mindset as Gideon, but we'll see. You never really know. IKEA, great story. Fast Company interviews IKEA's chief creative officer. If you haven't been following this, IKEA is going to make a huge push in the United States. They're going to drop about $2.2 billion, not only expand their big box stores, but also call these more kind of pop-up urban center stores more really a delivery service where people can pick up IKEA fun trinkets and, foldable furniture and all that good stuff. What's interesting, though, the chief creative officer, two good points in there, talking about how the stores are really set up for two things, ease and fun. Ease being first, like easy to get around, easy to find stuff, but when you're there, fun. And what they've done and experimented in Europe, they've added some other fun elements using the big blue box stores to host art installations, after show concerts. I'm a big proponent too of, I don't think enough retail, frankly, is doing enough with all the space that they have, trying to make it a clubhouse, make it a year-round activity. IKEA is doing some cool stuff. So interesting interview there and Fast Company to check out. As we wrap up here, Dan Snyder, Washington Commodores, I've been calling them, I guess they're called the Commanders, has agreed to sell his team to Josh Harris for $6 billion. Two things that are interesting. $6 billion is the same number that's being floated around for Manchester United, so it gives you a sense if you want to own some of the most well-known football clubs, either in America or in the United Kingdom, it's going to cost you about $6 billion. And there's a huge amount of interest. I mean, Schneider's done a horrible job. Not a lot of love and passion for him as an owner. The Washington Football Club is nowhere near its prominence that it was in its heyday back in the 80s and 90s. But as an investment, he bought it for $800 million, sold it for $6. Not a bad investment. So that's all we got for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark Ross. Have a good day. Ciao.